Welcome back to AI Tech Hub. I'm Techie. So, if you caught our recent top 5 AI tools explainer, you might remember we briefly touched on automation platforms, stuff like Zapier and Motion. Well, today we're going deep into one specific tool that has just absolutely exploded in popularity. It's called n8n. We're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how the open source architecture of workflow automation actually works. Let's dive right in. Developers and highly technical teams are flocking to this platform in droves, and it's earned a really specific, very powerful reputation in the industry. Zapier, but you actually own it. By the end of this explainer, you're going to understand exactly why they say that, what n8n does under the hood, and really why having absolute ownership over your automation architecture is a total game changer for modern businesses. Section 1. The App Overload Problem. Think about your day-to-day work environment for a second. You're probably dealing with dozens of completely disconnected apps, right? You've got a form tool collecting data, a spreadsheet tracking it, maybe a messaging app for your team, and a project management database on top of all that. Constantly needing one of these tools to trigger an action in another is just a massive headache. Doing it the old-fashioned way means manual babysitting. It's slow, it's repetitive, and honestly, it's exactly where costly mistakes creep in. What we actually need is automatic cascading, a reliable system that handles all those follow-up actions without any human effort. Basically, no more babysitting. Section 2. The Domino Chain Solution. To really grasp how n8n solves this app overload, I want you to imagine a perfectly set up chain of dominoes. Building it takes a bit of upfront setup, sure, you have to carefully place each piece, but once it's built, you just tip the very first one, which we call a trigger, and the entire chain reacts automatically. In n8n, you're building this exact kind of chain, just using your favorite apps and services instead of physical blocks. So your trigger, your very first domino, could be something simple like a new form is submitted on your website. Once that falls, it instantly knocks down the rest of the chain in sequence, firing off actions across completely different tools, totally hands-free. Section 3. Nodes, workflows, and branches. So let's look at the actual digital mechanics here, because you can build these chains without writing custom integration code from scratch. The core building block every individual domino you place in your setup is officially called a node. A node just represents a single specific action or trigger within a specific app. So a node might be receive a Slack message or add a row to a Google Sheet. And the beauty here is that n8n has pre-built nodes for hundreds of common tools. They already speak the language of that specific app. You aren't writing code, you're literally just placing pre-built blocks. Now, when you visually connect these node dominoes together on a canvas, literally by just dragging lines between them, you create what's called a workflow. The workflow is your map. It defines the exact sequence of those automated events. You set this workflow up once, and every single time that initial trigger fires, the whole chain runs in the exact order you drew it. But of course, real business automations aren't always just straight lines, right? Things get complex. With conditional logic branching, your domino chain can actually hit a fork in the road and route down completely different paths depending on what the data shows. For example, say a new order comes in. The workflow checks the data. Path A routes an order over $100 down a premium high-touch support flow, while Path B sends a smaller order down a standard automated flow. All of this happens instantly, right within the exact same workflow. Section 4. Smarter Chains with AI. n8n takes this domino effect even further by bringing artificial intelligence directly into the chain. If you followed our recent explainers on AI agents or MCP, this is going to sound very familiar. n8n now features AI-specific nodes that you can drop right into your workflow. Instead of every step being rigid, you can essentially hand off decision-making to an AI mid-chain. Let's say an incoming email triggers the workflow. The AI analysis node dynamically reads the email, summarizes it, and figures out the context. If it detects a bug, it smartly routes it down path A to IT support. If it detects a sales query, it routes it down path B to the sales team. You're combining the reliability of traditional automation with super flexible AI reasoning. Section 5. Why open source wins. So, why are highly technical teams, the people who know software best, choosing n8n over the more closed ecosystem alternatives out there? Well, it comes down to architecture. Because n8n is open source and self-hostable, you can run it on your own infrastructure. This gives you total, direct control over your own data, which is obviously huge for privacy. But maybe even more importantly for businesses scaling up, you avoid those crushing per-task fees that hosted tools charge. When you're running millions of automations, paying a fraction of a cent every time a domino falls gets incredibly expensive. With n8n, you own the engine. No per-task fees at scale. You can customize it and run it as much as you want. Section 6. Real-world automation in action. Let's make this really concrete and actually watch the dominoes fall in a practical scenario. A small business automatically following up with new leads. Step 1. A potential customer submits a website contact form. The first domino falls. Instantly, the workflow cascades to Step 2. Updating a spreadsheet with the lead's info. Bam, next domino. Step 3 fires off a personalized welcome email and simultaneously pings your internal team with a Slack alert. Finally, Step 4 creates a follow-up task in your project management tool, requiring a human to reach out within 24 hours. Look, it's not magic. It's just a well-built chain of dominoes. All of those steps happen within seconds. Not a single person on the team had to manually open a spreadsheet, draft an email, or type out a Slack message. The chain was built once, and now every single new lead that comes in triggers that exact, reliable sequence. It saves countless hours and makes absolutely sure no lead ever falls through the cracks. That is the sheer power of n8n right there. It combines the open-source control of your own infrastructure with the intelligence of AI and the simplicity of visual workflow building. If this explainer helped things click for you, make sure you hit subscribe, because we are breaking down complex tech concepts like this in every single explainer. Now, I want to leave you with a question to think about. What real-world automation do you want to see us build step by step next? Let me know your biggest workflow bottlenecks in the comments. And hey, maybe we'll solve them together in our next one. Thanks for learning with me, and I'll see you next time.